Hi friends, welcome to Pilates with Tal. In this video, I'm going to take you through a little ab series on the mat. So let's get started. We're going to start lying down. Knees are bent, heels are planted into the mat. And you can just drop your head onto the mat to start. Hands can come down by your sides, and we're going to start with a little pelvic tilt. So tilting the pelvis in towards the spine, feeling the lower abdominals turn on, and then rotating the other way, arching the back. So coming in and out. And this can be a really tiny movement. We don't really want anything else moving besides the lower core coming in and out, so we can start to turn on all the layers of the core here. So 3 more. 2, and the next time you tilt your pelvis in towards you, can start to bring your right leg into table, and then as you expand, drop that foot back down. Left leg, and lower back down. So now we've switched up the weight a little bit, and we've added a little balance and gravity challenge, so there's going to be a little bit more of a challenge through your deep core, particularly in the lower belly. So just keeping that in mind and trying to clue your attention into this lower part. Make sure that there's no swaying from side to side. So the pelvis is still. We're here for 3, 2. On the last one, we're gonna bring our left toes up towards the ceiling, back into tabletop. Right leg comes to meet it, and then we're gonna drop the right toes down towards the mat and lift back up. Left toes drop, lifting back up. So keeping the core contracted, and we're only dropping the toes as far down as we can go without the lower back moving along with it. So our core is keeping the rest of our body nice and stable as our toes dip and lift. Lower and lift. We'll do 5 more on each side. Last 4, last 3, 2, last 1, and then we're going to drop both heels down towards the mat, interlacing our hands behind our head, and slowly starting to find our first ab curl here. So lifting, and then lowering, and continuing just like that. So a couple things to note here. Our elbows are out wide. We can see them in our peripheral vision. Our chin is slightly tucked in towards our chest, so the back of the neck can be nice and long. And our head is heavy in our hands, so we're not pulling on the head to lift. Our hands are supporting our head. And one last thing, so to contract through the right part of the core, maybe it's helpful to picture your ribs sliding in towards your hips as you lift, and then that space expanding as you lower. So continuing here for 5 more. And the next time we lift, we're going to find the same marching with the legs as we did before. So right leg comes into table as we lift, everything drops down. Same thing on the left side, everything drops down. So keep going, switching from side to side and trying to keep the pelvis stable. So the back, the lower back is still even on the mat. And just noticing if you're pulling on the neck at all and on the head. And just let your head hang heavy. For 3. For 2. And last one. Lower all the way down, knees go back into tabletop. So from here, we're gonna extend our right toes down towards the mat, back into table. Same thing on the left side, back into table. So just like when we were doing our little toe dips, we're only extending the leg as far down as we can go without the lower back coming along with it. So this is just keeping everything in the core without causing any issues or pulling in the low back. So maybe the range of motion is just a couple inches, that's totally fine. We're trying to build core strength without causing any issues in the low back. So last 5. And I mean sets. So 4 more sets. Last 3. 2. And 1. And pausing in tabletop. So we're gonna drop our heels down towards the mat and then just taking the right toes up towards the ceiling, grabbing behind that right thigh and first just having a little stretch through the back hamstring. Maybe flexing and pointing through the toes depending on how intense this stretch is for you. So just taking it at your own pace. And whenever you're ready, we're gonna point the right toes up towards the ceiling. We're gonna curl the top body up, chin tucks in towards the chest, extending the left toes long, and then we're gonna come into scissors. So switching the legs and switching. We're here for 10. Keeping stable through the core. Last 5, 3, last 1. Hug knees in towards chest and just take a second, maybe rocking from side to side, giving the low back a nice little massage. And whenever you're ready, dropping both legs down towards the mat, pointing the left toes up towards the ceiling and just starting with a little hamstring stretch. So this might be intense enough for you depending on how tight your hamstrings are. So taking it nice and slow, and if you want to add in a little ankle mobility work, you're flexing and pointing through the toes here. Whenever you're ready, we're going to pause with toes pointed, curling the head up towards your lifted thigh. So we're contracted through the core. We're gonna kick the right toes long, and then we're gonna switch out the legs. Switch, switch, last 8. Keep going and breathe through it. Last 3, 2, 1. Hug everything in. And you are all done with this short but spicy core flow. Thank you so much for moving with me.